Hello everyone and welcome to the Comb Racing League. Today is the round 0 or pre-season race, call it what you will, for season 6. It is at China and we're going to be getting underway in a few minutes. So hello to anyone just joining the stream. At the moment they're getting the last few drivers in and then I will switch to watching the qualifying. The usual with China, well the usual with CRL at this round, it is a long qualifying and then a 50% race. Most of the same drivers actually, although quite a lot of the guys who were in Tier 2 last season moved up to Tier 1, so a few new faces. I think we've got one or two drivers who are completely new to the league racing in this too. But yeah, we will see. Supposed to have a full grid for tonight. Sounds like one driver is struggling slightly with internet issues. So hopefully they are able to get that sorted. But yeah, we will see. In fact, what I can do, there we go. So you can see our drivers here for Tier 2. And if memory serves, these are all the 20 main drivers who are going to be racing. So a lot of these names you recognise. Cole Paradox there in yellow, the Tier 3 champion. He'll be one to keep an eye on, see how he does, having moved up. I think a few of the other ones as well may have moved up from Tier 3, but we've got people like Deluxey and Hobbsy who both did well last season. Who else do we have? Alex TG I know is quick, and Krishna, he's certainly up there. That is a man who, well, he won the last 2 rounds for anyone who remembers, but although very much struggles with consistency. Yeah, here is our reserves for, I guess, all the tiers. You can see a lot of reserves in Tier 2. And some of them are going to be racing tonight. Reserves racing tonight, I believe, should be Jay Hartnell, Bossman Pickle, Underboss and Luke. So yeah, we'll see how they do. I know Luke and Jay Hartnell have seen race before. I'm not so sure about the other two. I believe they are new to CRL. Okay, so I think they are now starting up qualifying. Yep, looks like they are. So Q1, let's see how it goes. Tier 2 very much known for their close qualifyings, especially their Q2. That seems to be one of the closest ones I've seen, full stop. Ooh, straight into some rain, how about that? So yep, full wet for these guys. No one yet leaving the pit lane. No one. Oh, there. Jay Wills heading out onto track. See him in first gear, as is Draper. Looks to be just those two for the moment, a Ferrari and a Red Bull. Jay Wills leading the charge out onto track. But yeah, the three reserves I mentioned, Jay Hartland in the AlphaTauri, Bossman Pickle in the Alfa Romeo, and Underboss in the McLaren. So hopefully next week, Hedgehog will be joining us in the commentary box. Had a family emergency, so was not able to do so tonight, but he should certainly be a fun person to commentate with. I know from his Tier 3 escapades he was very much loved. So now a lot more drivers filtering out onto the track. Still Jay Wills and Draper, the first two. Both Aston Martins. I think Strauss the one ahead, Nelly Safford the one who's only just left the pit lane. Carl behind Strauss. So for anyone, well, last season's drivers, if I get, try to remember last season, Steiny, KXI and DeRoy, all top three finishers last season, have all gone up to tier 1. So 4-star Hobbsy are two fastest, but as Jay Will starts his first lap, but the two fastest, well the two highest standings from last season who are going to be remaining in this tier. I think a few people may have come down from tier 1. Is that spun Captain Nick? Not sure if it was or not. So of course Jay Will's first one out on track. He's going to be set on those purple sectors, but for now just want to get a lap down with these conditions. Possible a lot of people will struggle to get any laps done. Hello, hello. So we will have a look further back. It was Draper, the driver behind. He is still going on his lap. His teammate just behind him, though, has a small moment there. Manages to catch it in time. Paradox staying out the way of Nelly Safi, drives him to go oh so slow. Inch onto the throttle. Yeah, only just now getting fully onto the power. Hop back more with the J Will. There's just one more corner left to go, and we'll see what time he sets up for the rest of the drivers to beat. Oh no! And he's off into the wall, and that's him out of the session. So there we go. The said drivers had to be careful. And already one driver caught out by the rain. See how Draper does. He holds it on the curb, and he will be the first man to set a lap. Sets himself a 1:49.2. So how about Strauss then? He beats him by just under a second. 1:48.3. Carl, the next man, improves yet again on the previous time. Not sure which Haas that is. It was Hobbsy. Only just missing out on second position, but of course any of those times near the top are likely going to be safe. Got a whole host of drivers going towards that long hairpin. As Underboss finishes his lap up into 4th position, Tobesing amongst the traffic. Alpine behind him. Oh no, but into the pit lane for him. Alex still, just starting the last sector. And Captain Nick, a slow time considering the rest of them so far, but he has managed to finish an entire lap. The slow Jay Hartner bringing out a yellow. No drivers spinning in that sector though, it appears. Try having more than people still pushing on their laps. Alex, one of them. And he goes to the front at 1:48.1. I'm trying to remember. What was Alex reserve last season, or was he in Tier 1? Or was he reserve in Tier 1? But DC straight to the front for him, a 47.7. His teammate comes around for another lap. Draper not improving with his second lap. Now interestingly, Bowie in the pit lane, considering going out on the inters. Yet to leave the pit lane on them. Boss man, next driver to settle up, coming around the last corner. So it should be a fairly solid time in amongst the mix of them. Yep, up into second, we'll be happy with that one. Second driver in the 47s. There's Nelu Safi, that's a 47.6. And tops DC on his second lap done. Claire PR, the next man. Oh, we've got a crashed. Strauss has gone off in start of the second sector. Not seen any front wing damage, it must have just been a spin. Certainly drivers shouldn't be pushing too hard, especially when he's already that high up the order. There are some guys who are going to set time to not go through. Sometimes it is just a game of survival in conditions like this. So Alex, I suspect, will be into the pit lane. DC, hard to say what he'll be doing. It seems the conditions are improving given drivers are looking at switching onto the intermediate tyres. I think yes, he is coming towards the line. He's going to have a hard time improving there. Already a pretty solid lap. He does improve by 1/10 and a half, and that is enough to get him back up to the front ahead of Nelu Safu. Now for the other Red Bull, his teammate. No, into the pit lane for him. So can Nelu Safu respond to DC, get back ahead, or is he going to go into the pit lane? Look for going out on the inters as Tobes now doing his outlap on the inters. Nelu Safu into the pit lane. I think Tobes is going to be one to watch. See how the inters do out on the track. Actually looking to be doing fairly well on the inters. Not too many drivers deciding on the better option. Is that a spun Ferrari? That's a Krishna into the wall. His front wing's gone. That'll be him in, possibly onto the inters, though he's yet to get a quick lap in. 2:10, his best lap so far. So certainly not a good lap, and he's had 3 laps and they've got to the line, whether that's through invalidation or otherwise. So we've got here DC. That is a man I suspect to be coming into the pit lane. Yeah, very far down on his lap. So his lap to pay attention to. Tobes has made the right decision, staying out on those inters. I suspect a lot of the drivers in the pit lane will be watching to see how he handles this. Looking good so far, not yet made any mistakes. Not a purple first sector though, a 28.2 seems for the moment quite evenly matched with the wet tyres. We won't know until he gets to the end of his lap though. So now, there we go, a purple sector in the middle sector. Got a spun, Bossman, Pickle. He is the driver, he's still on the wet tyres. We'll hop back on board with Tobes. And I think at the very least he'll be towards the front of the guys. But we'll see. Right, exactly, one more corner to go. Just got to not do what J Wills did here. And actually slots perfectly in amongst them. 8th position for him. 1:48.3. So now stick it on to best. So yeah, still the only man set at best time on the inters. You can see just how many of them now switched to them. Who have we got setting the lap on inters currently? JB Bowie's the only one on a lap on them. Most drivers are on an out lap. High fancy graphics now. So is that another mistake by Bossman Pickle into the... Or is he just going very slowly on this wet tyres? I think crawling back to the pit lane, playing it safe. So JB Bowie. Let's see where he ends up. Looks like it's going to be another time similar to Toes, but slightly further up the order. 5th position for him, 48.8. Right now, I've got to try and pick out which are the drivers currently on a lap. Toes going for another one. I think he will actually be the next man. And in the first sector, nearly 8/10 up. No, sorry, after 2 sectors, nearly 8/10 up. Those 8/10 look at putting him into, actually quite possibly the lead. He has a good last sector, straight to the front for him. Yep, there we go. A 46.7. That is 9/10 advantage to the rest of the grid, confirming it is now definitely intermediate conditions. So DC with a purple first sector, 7.5/10 green in his first sector. So I think we can now assume most drivers are on soft tyres. I'll stick it back on best so we can see where the intermediate times are slotting into. Majority of the guys now on a lap. Is that Deluxe across the line? No. A bajillion shades of blue and it's working out which one is which. So DC now around the hairpin, just one more corner to go as JB Bowie improves his lap to a 46.2. Half second ahead of Tobes. DC though will be the next man to set a time on the Inters, and this looks good, yes, at 44.9, huge gap to the rest of the field. Nelly Safu, second quickest. Now the Inters are without doubt the tyre to be on. So that Cole Paradox 47.1. I think we're going to have other McLaren. No, he was just starting his lap. The two Haas cars next. M. Hobbsy, man who came 5th on the championship with 1 podium last season. Is that Draper retiring in the pit lane? Ooh, and Captain Nick disqualified for dangerous driving. I suspect that was a spin that led to Codemasters saying, "You're gonna suffer." But that is not what Captain Nick wanted. Now that's 3 drivers out of the session. Draper though looks like retired in the pit lane. That may have been a qualifying ban. I do remember someone had one of those. I can very quickly check. No, doesn't look like he did have a qualifying ban. There's 4-star, slowest of the guys in the Inters. So either way, above all the laps on the wet tyres. So now only 2 drivers remaining on the track are going to be knocked out. Not make it through to Q2. Some drivers, Bossman only now starting his first lap on the Inters. He will only have time for that 1 lap. Strauss up to 3rd position, 44.1. I think Underboss 45 flat though. So Jay Hartnell wants to be towards the front of the guys in the Inters, ideally 7th, that'll be good enough for him. Should be safe there, 45 flat. And Krishna, mighty lap, 43.9. Hobbsy not able to improve, 7/10 red. What about his teammate? Does improve up to 4th fastest and the first man to finish in this session. Krishna improves yet again, about 1/10.5 over his previous lap. And Alex is invalidated. Alex will not be going through to Q2. This is now between Bossman and Carl. Actually not necessarily, it could be any of the guys higher up in the order. Cole Paradox is still at threat. So, see what Carl can do. First lap on the Inters, and he's up to 7th, he's safe. So now, what about Bossman? 2 seconds. Green does not want to invalidate here, but does need to find a decent amount of time. It's a 1.5 to Cole Paradox, so ideally he wants to find more than that. If he can beat Tobes, he knows he's safe. And he does, he beats Tobes. Can Cole Paradox also beat Tobes? Yes, he can. So that'll be Tobes and Alex, the 2 drivers knocked out, plus of course Draper, who retired in the pit lane. Jay Wills with this crash we were on board with, and Captain Nick getting disqualified for Codemastery things. Nathan or Jacob, I'm 90% sure that is a bot. Don't assume we want to ban it. So here we go, Krishna with the fastest lap, only half a tenth. Oh no, sorry, DC with the fastest lap, half a tenth ahead of Krishna. Must have missed that DC lap, we're focusing on the guys nearer the back. Oh, of course we saw Tobe's 5th place grid penalty, so he'll be starting last, even behind Captain Nick. So yeah, Captain Nick, Jay Wills, Draper, Alex and Tobes. Tobes will be starting last due to that 5th place grid penalty. Right, now I can't remember if I have a stat here, but we'll give it a go. Ah yes, while we're going between sessions, here is a look at this season's calendar. You can see where it says SP next to the race, that's where we're doing the sprint style. So honestly can't remember if it's one-shot qualifying or short qualifying, but we're shaking things up, trying to match sprint races in F1. We're doing it at Monza, Silverstone and Azerbaijan, so all good tracks, good racing, and it should certainly be good fun to watch it unfold. But for the moment, we've still got 3 more weeks till the first one at Monza. Get back to Q2. We have yet another wet session, though this time seems to be a bit on the drier side. Clerpiar, first man out on track, shortly followed by one of the Hasses. So yeah, that is Lars behind, underboss, and then Carl and the 2 Aston Martins, Strauss and Nelly Safu. Can't tell which round they are though. I can check, so Nelly Safu is the leading Aston Martin. 2 of them in the session at the moment, on track, not time-wise. And this is usually the session where it gets very, very good and even closer. So from what I've seen so far, the pole is probably going to go to Real DC, assuming it stays these conditions. It is certainly drying up now, no more rain, just a wet track. Of course it was between Krishna and DC last session, very, very close between the 2 of them. DC just the faster by half a tenth. But DC has proved he is the far more consistent driver, certainly had more experience in Tier 1, which will improve your racecraft and make you mindingly terrified of wheel-to-wheel battling from what I've seen of it. So here we go, Clerpiar starting his first lap of the session, as Carl has gone for a spin, probably. Yeah, he has gone for a spin out the hairpin. We still got a front wing there? Looks like we do. So he is still going to be going around to start his lap. So Clerpiar clear track ahead of him. Now just over half the drivers are out of the pit lane. Going to be setting. Oh, and Carl's gone for another spin, and this time out of the session. Start of the second sector, wasn't on board with him, and no cars near enough to get a look at that. I assume that is him into the wall. That leaves 14 drivers remaining. So Club PR first time 45.2. Now actually that's slower than some of the times we were seeing in the previous section, which very heavily implies to me it might 44.4 from Lars, and another 44.4, 300ths quicker by Paradox, sorry, by Underboss. Nelu Safu, couple tenths ahead of them. Strauss, couple tenths ahead of him. These times actually seeming a bit slower than last session. I think the Inters might be struggling with the lack of water on the track. So Paradox into the last sector now. Just got to get the hairpin in the last corner right. Oh, you've seen it catch out. Actually, one drive at each corner. Carl got caught out with the hairpin on his outlap. And then J Wills in Q1 caught out with this last corner. The conditions significantly more treacherous at that point. So Paradox 45.3. Slowest time on the board so far, but only just behind Club PR. Osman Pickle up into 4th. Splits the other two who are on 44.4s. Club PR though is on an improved lap. He needs about 8 tenths in order to go up any positions. And I don't think he's found that much time. No. Half a second, but not enough to gain any positions. As we've had, is that Paradox? Yeah, Paradox gone off actually in a very similar place to where I think Carl must have had his crash. Kept his front wing from the look of things, managed to keep it out of the wall. Strauss sets the fastest lap, putting him 7 tenths ahead of anyone else. And is that Lars who's gone for a spin? It is. I saw some front wing there. So Lars crashing on the last corner, not suffering the same fate as J Wills though. But if he has lost some of his front wing, then this might be a slow in lap. Oh no. Still at the front wing. Not sure what I saw on the track then. Osman 10th and a half up after the first 2 sectors. And he's into the pit lane. Yeah, 4-star on outlap Club. Sorry, Paradox just behind him. He's also gone into the pit lane. I wonder if we're going to start seeing guys go onto the soft tyres or not. Strauss has gone for a spin. Krishna flying past him. None of the drivers yet to change tyre. Of course, it is going to be a risk in these conditions. So Strauss into the pit lane himself. Lars not going to be improving this lap. So PR going slow in the first sector. This is DC on an outlap. There we go, first man onto the soft tyres, Nelu Safu. Starting his first lap this session. Purple first sector for DC, but we know he's fast. We saw his times top of the board in Q1, DRS enabled. And that always good idea of when to switch onto the dry compound of tyres. The race last season at Singapore, one driver managed to use each tyre exactly once. Wets, intermediate, soft, medium and hard tyre. Which I think that was also the same race that Tobes went for was it a 9 or a 10 stop? Either way, he kept going to the end. So DC. Actually, I think I would expect him to. Not sure if he has time to finish this lap. The track now looking very dry. Yeah, straight into the pit lane for him. Now it's the case of all drivers be going for mediums or soft tyres. Because they know Carl is not going to be going through, so they only have to worry about fighting for 4 positions, but that is still... Now Lots in this tier has a habit of all being on the mediums, then all last second switching onto the softs. And newer people often get caught out by that. And that's Deluxey? No, it's JB Bowie. It's our first man out on a dry compound of tyre. Then his teammate Jay Hartnell. So we'll see what this first sector's like, how purple he can get it. Yep, briefly flashed as purple sector. So another purple sector for him, yep. Showing dry tyres, 100% the way to go. Just a bit of the traffic in the Tilka Snail at the start of the lap. So missing the apex slightly. Of course, JB Bowie has the advantage. One of the few drivers who is going to have time to set 3 laps on these tyres. There we go. Immediate 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Which driver is that? Oh, that's Strauss starting his out lap. Trying to see who will be off next runner on compound of tyres. I think it will be Cole Paradox. Why is my PS4 beeping at me? Ah, because it's on fire. Try not to cook yourself. So here we go, Cole Paradox. Question is now, can he beat JB Bowie? And yep, to the front for him. 1.1 seconds ahead. I'm going to stick it on best. That does mean we can't yet see who's on soft and who's on mediums. Oh, actually, no, I will leave it on tyre. Nelly Safi with a very slow lap. Given the pace of the newer compounds, PR next man to the line, and straight to the front for him. Second over Cole Paradox. Deluxey next man, the third on the mediums. The two. So there we go, JB Bowie. Doesn't improve that lap, but this will be his last attempt to improve now. So DC straight to the front, a 32 flat for him. Strauss in third position, he's not going to be going for another lap, that was his last one. Behind, was it Lars, the last man across the line? Yes, it was. Anyone else? That would be the lap they're working with. Underboss, a 32.7. First man to finish, though of course Strauss won't be improving. We saw him going slow, they're all blue, goodness. Fourth one out across the line, up into sixth position. That should be enough, but might not quite be. Nelly Safi up into second. Hobbsy straight to the front for him. Good job by the man, he was showing some very nice pace last season, especially towards the end. PR remains fourth fastest. Krishna's the next man. Definitely one of the fastest drivers in this tier, though also definitely one of the most inconsistent. Ninth position, oh he's really on the edge there, on those mediums. Jay Hartnell up into 7th position. JB Bowie is the next man to knock out Krishna, and he does. Also we have Lars, the last man, 10th up, but he needs to find 7 tenths. Well, 6.5, but even then, he does get past Luxy, not quite enough though to get through. Actually, I don't think, did he move up any positions? I can't remember what it was before. But there we go, that concludes Q2. So Krishna and Lars only just missing out. And Deluxey and Bossman. Bossman not able to get a clean lap in. Actually, is that still his? Yeah, it's still his intermediate time. And then Carl, of course, into the wall. We didn't see that at the start of Sector 2. While we're waiting to move on to Q3. Here is a look at our point system for both the sprint, qualifying and the race itself. See our point system for those of you who haven't seen it before. So it is one shot quali. I feel like I should have known that. But yeah, the sprint race is one shot qualifying, followed by a 25% race in that order, as top 5 drivers get points, and then a 50% race with the usual 0 out points, as you would get with any other race. So here we go, the times. Hobbsy up front, just a 10th ahead of DC himself, a 10th ahead of Nelly Safi, and JB Bowie, PR, Cole Paradox, Underboss, Jay Hartnell, Strauss, 4-star. Actually over a second between the top 10 there. Which actually slightly larger gaps than we normally get. The drivers, of course, no, this isn't as important. This does not affect the championship. But yeah, just 1.2 seconds separating the top 12 drivers. Now completely completely dry conditions to work with. All drivers now just on soft tyres, working their magic, getting as quick as they can. Hobbsy and PR on the first we leave in the pit lane. I think, yeah, PR will be our first man. We'll hop on board with him. And in the meantime, while he's on his outlap, I'll once again advertise the CRL merch. The link is in the description. So those of you who are interested, then feel free to get some. And get your name customised on the jersey along with your number as well, which is certainly a good thing. The rest of them just come as they are, but that one can be customised with your gamer tag name, call it what you will, and your racing number. Yeah, almost all the drivers immediately out of the pit lane, just JB Bowie, not as of yet. Need an ice pack from PS4. Clerpier getting a bit of heat into his tyres, whether or not deliberately or not. Question only he knows the answer to. So clear track ahead of him. It's his job to get as fast as he can here. As I said earlier, I think DC will be the driver I'd expect to get the fastest time. But Nelu, Safu, who else could be up there? I guess Strauss is another driver I'd potentially stick up there. Is that? No, that is just a slow Red Bull on the last main straight. Just where I think we'll see a lot of our overtakes and certainly some fun dive bombs. But, debatable on how clean they were. So yeah, Jacob giving support to the two AlphaTauris. Are you AlphaTauri this season? Actually, also both Aston Martins have made it through. Are there any other teams we got both of them? So that's going to make his lap slower, but it keeps it pointing forward and keeps his front wing intact. The Cole Paradox and 4-star both Alpine. Yes, they are. So both Alpines, both Aston Martins, and both AlphaTauris. And then we're missing Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, and Mercedes. There's a Hobbsy, next man to set a lap. Of course, beats Clerpier. Clerpier. Costly mistake. 4-star, which is possibly made a mistake himself somewhere along the line. But a Strauss to the front, 2 tenths ahead of Hobbsy. 31.9. Jay Hartnell unlikely to beat that, not far off though. Half a second behind, 32.4. Nelly Safi to the front for him, a 31.7 as Underboss gets a 32.2. Cole Paradox into 7th as DC just behind Strauss. What's that? 25 thousandths, if my maths is correct. Clerpier into the pit lane for the moment. Hobbsy also on a slower in-lap. 4-star, another man on a slower in-lap. So actually Clerpier made a mistake on his. Is that one of the Astons trying to improve? No, it seems the majority of drivers are currently on in-laps. JB Bowie will definitely be the next man to cross the line with time. Given how hot the BS4 is, I'm surprised the fan is not louder. Ooh. Bit of sideways action there by JB Bowie, but catches it and gets 32.7, so not the quickest time. Still plenty of time for drivers to try and improve. Group of 3 drivers here into the pit lane. It was China where Vettel did his pit lane entry double overtake under the safety car. Helps to know the rules. I don't know what they're like in this game, but certainly within F1 itself, you may overtake in the pit lane entry even under safety car. No, that's interesting. JB Bowie half a tenth up in his previous lap, so it looks like he is pushing again for another one. Most drivers just going for one and done. See how he's doing after the second sector. Slightly down, just 14 thousandths down on his previous one. We saw him go sideways in the last sector. Say sideways. Wouldn't have lost too much time from that. It's enough to mean a lot with just how close this grid is. So, no, he is into the pit lane. Just didn't feel his time was going to improve enough. Now, here we got Clerpiar, 4-star, about to head out on to track. Currently the 2 slowest times, Clerpiar, we saw him make a mistake and make a very good catch as well. 4-star, didn't see if he did anything but a lap that far down off the rest of them. It seems likely there was something in there somewhere. So you can see their top 8 within a second. Top 4 looking pretty, actually, especially the top 3 pretty close. Quarter of a second between them. So 4-star might have to worry about DC ahead of them. So DC, clean driver, knows when to move out of the way, won't cause any problems. So there we go, purple first sector, half a tenth green. If we see sudden jump, the second sector will know where his mistake was. So here we go, sector 2, and there we go, yeah, nearly half a second up. Now that looks it. Actually, half a second not enough to gain in a position, but if he would have pulled back towards the end if he knew it was a slower lap. Half a second is pretty much enough to get him onto the back of the rest of them. So just now, his job to push in that last sector. So 4 stop. There we go, up to 4th position for him. So Leclerc PR has validated his lap somewhere along the line. Who else do we have setting a lap? I believe it'll be whichever one of the Aston Martins is ahead, which is Strauss, 10th and a half up. Which for a man who is 2/10 off his teammates in provisional pole, he does not need to find too much more time over his previous lap. So Strauss now across the line, and his provisional pole finds 3/10 over his previous lap. Eli Safu though, he's got about a 10th of improvement. His Strauss just crashed on the main straight, and he gets ahead of his teammate again. No, Strauss just going slow. The Aston Martin's shown a very dominant performance so far. DC also got 2.5 tenths. Looking like he'll catch Strauss, quite possibly also Nelly Safu. See if we can get provisionally onto the front row. And he does. Just 32 thousandths ahead of Strauss. As Forster goes into the pit lane. Really not happy he's going to improve. Leclerc PR is the next man. Goes 4th fastest. And we have the 2 AlphaTauris. JB Bowie, the first of them. 31.9 up to 4th, pushes down Leclerc PR. Jay Hartnell next one, 2.5 tenths green at the moment. Might find more, it's going to be around 6th or 7th. Yep, up to 6th for him, also another 31.9. Just missing out on Leclerc PR. Underboss now, he's up into 4th. Another 31.6. Now Hobbsy, oh, he's gone wide on the last corner. And a 31.7, that would have put him into 5th position if he had not invalidated on that last corner. Cole Paradox, I think he'll be into the pit lane, yeah. Just now got 2 Astons, and I think both of them are on slow laps. So I believe that concludes our qualifying, with Nelly Safu taking the pole position. DC splitting the 2 Aston Martins, but Aston Martin very, very strong presence here, showing to be the dominant force so far in this tier. Now interestingly, for those who are aware of how CRL assigned teams, they split the drivers into into groups of 5 for fastest, 2nd fastest group, 3rd fastest group and 4th per each tier. Strauss is the 2nd group of them and Nelly Safu is from the 3rd group. And both of them shown to be some of the quickest amongst it. DC, we already knew he was quick, he was put in the top group. Although JB Bowie also surprising, he's in the 4th group, him showing up here. So we'll see how it develops across the season. The driver really can improve a lot over the 15 races, 16 including this one. But here we go, Nelly Safu, 2/10 ahead of the next closest driver, although not much in that battle for 2nd. Bit of a jump down to the battle for 5th though. You can see again just how close those margins are, not much separating them at all. The 2nd separating the entire top 10. But yeah, 3/4 of a second between the top 9 drivers. It's going to be a good race. Now, I don't think any of the drivers within the top 10 are able to start on the medium tyres. But we will see. So formation lap starting shortly. Actually, I think I can do something clever here. I can. Here we go, you can stick that in the top corner. So there is our top 10. I'll stick it. That is not the thing I want to move. No, come on. Where was it? Stick that there for the moment. While we were on the formation lap. But it is going to be a good race from what we've seen. What am I doing? Stick you on tyres. So yeah, all soft from the top 10. Krishna, Deluxe and Tobst further down the order. Going for hard. Captain Nick going for the soft tyre. He's looking to gain positions early. And the rest outside the top 10 all going for the mediums. You can see their results to Q3. So they start lining up towards the grid. So I'll stick it onto position change once the race starts to see who are the big gainers and losers. We'll start lining up. It has put Tobes ahead of Captain Nick. I guess despite the 5-place grid penalty. So all drivers now lined up on the grid, getting ready to go. It says lap 2. Off a good start. 3, 4, 5 lights are up. And away they go. Red Bull DC getting a very good start there. No, never mind. And Safa getting a good start. Underboss past Strauss, already down a position. JP Bowie losing a lot of positions here. Strauss, however, back up the inside through that snaking corner. Side by side for Claire PR and Four-Star. Four-Star, a very good start with him, up 3 positions. Haas alongside the Williams further back. 2x2 into there, actually going 3 wide temporarily. Leaders. A bit of a gap to the rest of the guys. Not too much. As of yet, no cars spun in any way. We're still part of the group. We've got a yellow. Assume that might be Boss Man. Hard to tell though. No, there is a bit of a gap. Is that between 11th and 12th? So about halfway down the field at 1.4 second gap there. Oh, and Boss Man really going for a send here. Do you know what? I think he's pulled it off. Very, very well executed double overtake. And gets past Draper as he made a mistake on the exit last corner as well. So 3 positions in 1 corner. Jump back and forth of the lead battle where DC is quite literally right on the tail of Nelly Safu. Still in that Aston Martin sandwich. So Captain Nick currently up 6 positions. Alex down 4. Well, now he did make a mistake somewhere. I must have missed that. DC still not able to get past. Right on his tail. Has to be careful not to get caught up from behind. He's top 3. A bit of a gap to underboss. DRS not out just yet. And here we go. From Strauss's point of view. DC on the inside. Slightly ahead of Nelly Saffin, not by much actually. Nelly Saffin just pulling ahead. Going to be looking for the cutback. He's alongside, but he's also on the outside. And DC pulling ahead and getting into that first position. But a slower exit to the last corner. Nelly Saffin pulls alongside. Gets himself back into the lead. Also got the inside for the snake in first corner. DC still in that second position. A few guys, the 2 Ferraris caught up in a bit of an incident there. Oh, do you know what? DC's nearly got him at the inside. Has to try and hold on the outside of the second part of it, and he's done it. DC back up into the lead. Nelly Zafu now going to have to defend from his teammate. I'm not sure how much the two are going to be working together. You never know with CRL, they always kind of form their own groups. Some of them pay attention to teammates, others don't. All you know is you're going to get good racing. So DC brought that gap up to 6/10 already. First and second sector seem to be a strong point for him. Tobes has gone off. Tobes had a... not sure if it's a collision with Alex, if he just went off by himself. Dropped back a few places there on his hard tyres. Actually, JB Bowie must have lost the front wing somewhere. Looks like he has had a pit stop. And that's Captain Nick out of the race. Didn't see the cause of that, but there is his car on the side, the Alfa Romeo, and that's brought out a VSC. DC, Nelly Safu, underboss. Lots of drivers pitting here. Others choosing not to. Can't imagine the VSC is going to be out for a massive amount of time. So keep an eye on what DC onto the mediums, Nelly Safu also onto the mediums. So theoretically can now go to the end. Deluxey, I'm just slow right down because of the VSC. Now the question is, when will it be released? Which driver is going to get an advantage from it? Strauss with a very solid lead over the rest of the field. Most of the lead group deciding to pit. Oh, but Strauss and Bossman both done. Caught out by the VSC. Why has he dropped back to 5th? Did he go for a spin? I wasn't paying enough attention. Let's go and re-watch that from the streamer's perspective. No, it looks like he just stopped further up ahead. Not sure why he did that. It's Lars. Gets the move done on Deluxey. Three-way battle for the lead. Strauss immediately serving his drive through, wanted to get it out of the way. Get his head down and push. Nalo, Safa and DC continuing their battle, but this time 6th and 7th. Of course, the front of the guys who have pit so far this race. Strauss come out in 15th position. I think he's going to be less of a threat towards these two. The two Mercedes actually in quite possibly pretty strong positions at the moment. Of course, neither of them are pit, but because so many people pit under the VSC, they are now in much cleaner air, and if these guys don't fight too much, can play to their advantage. Hop on board the Club Yard. He's about to look at a move on Tobes. Go up the inside. Looks like he should be far enough ahead as long as he doesn't outbrake himself. No risk of a cutback too heavy. Of course, has the tyre advantage. Hop back and forth with that lead battle. Sklepia up into 12th. More importantly, Lars now extended that gap to 1 second. Mercedes may want to hold off fighting for a bit to try and catch up with him. Jay Wills. His crash in Q1, starting very far down the order, but now getting faster slap on some fresh soft tyres. Yeah, Lars pulling away from Carl a bit. Deluxey dropping back, whether by choice, lack of pace, hard to say, before another car. Not always an easy thing to do. Deluxey closed that gap up to them, not able to get the move done. A hop back and board with 4 start. Just following Krishna. Not close enough to go for the move because the stick his car around the outside. Now look for the cutback. No, not to get the cutback done, but is now on the inside for the last corner. And sort of gets it done. Krishna is forced wide. And also now under threat by Hobbsy. It looks like he's just gone and got the both of them while they were busy fighting. But Hobbs on the outside of Krishna. Krishna able to hold it on the inside. Not quite. Hobbsy able to stay alongside him on the outside. That first right-hander that just doesn't seem to want to end. I know Krishna does it. Come out on top. I said that Hobbsy looking for the move here. You can see he's on the softer combiner tyres. I assume, is that the drive-through from earlier Krishna has? No, that's 3 seconds, I assume, from going wide. Possibly nudged into doing so. Was Alex slow offline there? Have to rejoin somewhere. No front wing damage. Krishna's gone for a spin at the start of the large straight. He needs to get back onto the track as quickly as he can. Is that damage to the right of the front wing? Yes. Missing an end plate on his car. It's Nelly Safi somewhere. He's got past DC further up. Alex now further back down the order again, 3 seconds of penalties. 3 also spread out a bit himself. This battle for 4th is still raging on. Guys currently in the net lead. Well, it depends if they want to take the mediums to the end. That is a yellow flag for sector 2, and I think that's an Alex. Yeah, possibly another mistake by him. That was DC. He's just missed out on DRS of Nelly Safu. Behind him, Underboss is not. He's considering a move. Not quite close enough. Might be able to go for something into the first corner, certainly challenge him through that first spiral. A slower exit to the last corner. This time DC does have that DRS. Here we go, Tobes and Cold Paradox. Cold Paradox looks like he's managed to get the move to stick. Up into 11th position for him. There's Alex retiring in the pit lane. Not happy with his race. So JB Bowie crosses the pit exit line, picks up some penalties for himself. So now 4-star looking for the move on Hobbsy. Got a lot of pace advantage for him. Yep. Massive amount of overspeed. Get the move done, just managed to get his braking point correct. Obviously though, that 30% more ERS. Now with him, the DRS. Going to be outside, ideally he wants to get past him before the corner. So we can sweep in ahead of him. And he managed it. Perhaps if Forster hadn't gone so deep, could have tried to hold him at the inside, but no, Hobbsy up into 7th position with a very nice overtake around the outside. Further up, DC has caught back up with Nelu Safu. Not right in his tail, but certainly less than that 1 second gap we saw earlier. Behind him, Underboss. Refusing to be dropped. So yeah, Underboss, this is his CRL debut and actually shown to be a very quick driver. Comes straight into tier 2, near the front, fighting 2 of our quickest. So interestingly, despite the fact you'd expect Deluxey to be doing better as time goes on further, he is starting to drop away from the front 2. The hard tyres not giving him benefit of duration just yet. Obviously these front 2 will eventually start to flag a bit. We'll see when they decide to pit. They're probably going for a medium soft strategy. mistake by Krishna. Has he got a front wing? Can't tell. Hop back and forth with this battle for fourth though. And there must have been a mistake by Underboss somewhere. So he's dropped back 3 seconds. There we go, DC back up into the lead there. Right, I think I've just timed out that bot. There we go. DC actually now very effectively pulling away from Nelly Safir. Almost got the gap up to a second. DRS zone. No. Stayed to less than a second. I think both drivers really would have been using that ERS there. There's an overtake for the lead. Carl finally getting past Lars. Gap between them and Luxy, despite their fighting still increasing. DC certainly closing the gap down to Luxy from behind. That gap 1.07 seconds. Now down to less than 4. Again, that's despite their fighting. Like Christian being lapped there. Sorry, I'm not fully concentrated at the moment. I'm trying to get used to the new way I'm doing this. Keep an eye on this hit. There's a chance we'll see overtake from this group here. 4-start right behind Hobbsy, who himself does not have any DRS. Going for the move up the inside. Now Hobson going to try and get him back into the first corner. 4-start up the inside. Hobbsy trying to sweep around the outside. Forster able to hold it. Sorry, Hobbsy able to hold it. And he's got him through the left-hander. Could be also having to worry about behind Romburn. So Carl has pit for hard tyres and he's come out into 11th position. Awesome, keep an eye on that gap between DC and Deluxe, closing down quite quickly. Strauss has gone off and Strauss has crashed in the middle sector. We'll see if that brings out. Is that just a yellow or is it going to be a safety car? It's be a great opportunity. Lars is pitting. Deluxe choosing not to. Oh, Krishna's gone for a spin in the first sector. No safety car. DC though also pitting for tyres. That promotes Nelu Safi to second, Deluxe to first. Deluxe is still going to be in the pit stop. Draper also going for a spin somewhere. Or was it just showing a yellow because it felt like it? I think it may have just been showing a yellow because it felt like it. Trying to find these groups of battles. That battle between Hobbs and Forstein Club PR still ongoing, this time for 4th position. If these guys really want to push, they could go to the end. DC came out the pits in 13th. And remember, there's been a pre-season race. None of the drivers actually have points up for it. So some of them might be pushing harder, others, so there's nothing to risk, others might be taking it gentle just as kind of a warm up, learn the ropes. Well, I think Underboss has certainly made a good entry into the tier, CRL in general. Where are other ones? Bossman in 9th and... who was the other reserve? No, the other reserve was Nelly Safi, I think. Was it him? It was. No, it was Jay Hartnell, who's certainly not new here. I think he's not new. He's a name I recognise. JB Bowie, Jay Wills fighting further down the order. Pulling alongside him into the first corner. Now the question is he going to try and cover the inside? Jay Wills forced to slot in behind him. Not really room to go for a move just yet. Dropping back a little bit. It seems Jay Wills does have some lag to him, but not a huge amount. I suspect we will see an overtake here for 8th position. Jay Hartnell looking to get past Cole Paradox. And he's up the inside. No, doesn't break any later than him. Decides not to go for the move, although the outside on the exit of the corner. As if the two are trying to work together a bit. It's hard to tell. Do have to worry about DC behind, is on fresher tyres, we know. One of the quickest drivers at the moment, certainly for this track. So then Safu comes out about 3 seconds behind him. In fact, I think he might. Yeah, he's already got the moves. Oh no, not quite got the move done on Tobes. Fresh mediums versus old hards. Not going to be much of a battle. Only take a few corners for that to resolve itself. Actually, I think Jay Hartnell led in DC through there. Possibly because he knows he would have got him into the hairpin anyway. Still within that DRS range. See DC pick up the next man. And that's now up to 7th position for him. Currently the net P1 and P2 looking to be Carl and Lars. Still up ahead fighting. They are on hard tyres. There's a pretty sizable gap to DC though. Although of course 4-star and Club PR may try and take it to the end. Suspect their tyres would be capable of it. Just a case of how nice can they be to them. Are they willing to deal with well-worn tyres? So DC already pulled away from Cole Paradox quite a bit, got that 1 second gap. And Lusafu and Deluxe. Those are two quick drivers. Similar strategies. Both on fresh mediums. Man pickle here. Up the, yeah, there we go. DC, plenty of overspeed gets him on the outside. Nothing Bossman can do to respond. But he has gone into the pit lane. One of the first drivers to pit. I think we'll be seeing some soft tyres put onto his car. Bad if the lead's still going on though. Ooh, that's a big mistake by 4-star. Club PR getting through into the lead. Possibly would have got a warning for that, depends if we rejoined, but he did lose 1.5 to 2 seconds of time. Carl and Lars seem to be gaining on these two quite quickly, especially after that mistake by 4-star. Though having said that, Lars going for a spin. Be careful how he rejoins, nearly causing an incident with that rejoin. Safu, fresh tyres to go up the inside of Jay Hartnell. Ooh! And he cuts the apex, gets the move done, but gets 3 seconds of penalties as well. Cole Paradox into the pit lane. And Carl now getting past 4-star into P2. And these tyres, significant advantage of these two guys in the 15 lap hard mediums. Carl now will quickly check his penalties. Somehow he's got 3 warnings, so we really can't afford to get another one. Yeah, that gap closing down. I think Carl just missed out on getting the DRS for the back straight. have a quick check. Yes, he did just miss out on it. Underboss easily up the inside of Jay Hartnell, able to take the normal line through the corner and up into 7th place for him. As Clerpiot has gone into the pit lane. Further down the order, Cole Paradox is that has got a spin. Start at the 3rd sector. So now these two don't want to be fighting too hard. Ideally they want to catch up. The guys near the front are going to be quite the challenge though. Nellis Afi's penalty. Can't afford to push too hard. DC may have made a mistake there, judging by times. Drivers around gaining on him or pulling away from him. Start up into 9th. Now just 7 laps remaining. Good evening. A lot of the guys currently on fresh soft tyres, certainly in the middle of that pack. Not sure they're going to be able to catch up with the guys near the front on the mediums or the hard tyres. At the moment this is Carl's to lose. And, Jay Hartnell's gone for a spin further down the order. Just lost in the 1 position to Tobes. Now interestingly on the fresh soft tyres you'd expect to have had more grip than before. I guess pushing them a bit too hard and not used to their limits just yet. So that gap between DC and Carl not coming down all that quickly, I think. Provided DC doesn't make any more mistakes, it should to catch up. Whether they can get an overtake by the end, not so sure. More interestingly is how close Nelly Safi is getting to DC. Which, while he himself won't be able to do anything given his 3 seconds of penalty, Deluxey may be able to get past, get himself that 2nd position. Going to be very close among the top 4. how they cross the line. I think I'm not going to see Nelu Safi finish top 3. He's only just 3 seconds ahead of Underboss. That's despite Underboss's 3-second mistake earlier, which we didn't catch. Hop on board with the battle for 14th further down the order. Skull Paradox got the inside line. See if JB Bowie tries to outbrake him. It looks like he wants to, decides better of it. Actually both going a little deep, neither able to go for the cutback. Skull Paradox narrowly avoids going off the edge of the track. Usually the curb avoids a penalty. Skull Paradox quicker exit to the corner, but only just. JB Bowie now gaining on him. If he wants to send it to the inside, decides better of it. Still right behind him, pressuring him. 5 laps remaining now. And the gap between the front two not closing all that much. So Skull Paradox, yeah, already a second gap to JB Bowie. Fresh medium's better than the older hard tyres. Now, Nelu Safi within, or nearly within a second of DC. He is at times. Nil will take his 1 DRS zone. He'll be able to push up. Here we go. Nelu Safi 9/10 to DC. Now over a second. Oh, he's gone slightly wide there. Now he needs good corner hit. He's got one. No, I don't think he managed to get the DRS. I think he just missed it. Yeah, not going to be getting DRS. They're behind. Deluxe is. Closing the gap, but of course that is the second DRS zone. DC really under threat here, actually gaining a lot of time on Carl. Possibly doing better from the pressure. And yeah, again, no DRS got by Nelu Safi. DC gaining on Carl, but 3 laps remaining. Still a 2-second gap. Even if he does gain half a second a lap, is that Jay Wills making a mistake there? As Krishna gets fastest lap from the back. Got a cheeky bit of DRS from this battle for 8th. DC is now closing quicker on Carl. Not sure why I wasn't pushing harder earlier, but I think Nelu Safi more likely to be within a second this time. Yeah, and I think he has got the DRS. See shortly. Yep, there we go. Luxy also done so, but both these gaps currently quite large. DC keeps gaining just over half a second a lap. Then possibly have, yeah, be in DRS range. the main straight from lap 27 to lap 28. He's certainly going to be a close one among the top four. Nelly Safford though, possibly a mistake somewhere. We haven't boarded this battle for P8 as they're battling away. So the first sector 4-star getting ahead of Clerpier. Very similar tyres. That is a called Paradox? That's him going slowly. Not sure what caused that. Nelly Safford, however, dropped back off DC a bit. Now the question is, who's going to get DRS and who's not? DC not going to be getting DRS. Neither is Nelu Safu. Just Deluxey from this group. With DC already within that 1 second. Just Hobbsy's gone for a spin further down the order. And that's dropped him down, I think, 3 positions past that 4-star Club PR battle and Boss Pickleman. Deluxey past Nelu Safu. Nelu Safu going across the same hairpin. They got him his penalty before. Now both Deluxey and Real DC have DRS. The battle between Carl, DC and Deluxey really going to heat up in this last lap. So DC now right on the tail of Carl. He's got that back straight to work with. Actually, there's a pretty decent gap over Deluxey now. Not massive. Here we go. All of this front group, of course, bar Carl getting DRS for the final back straight. Just 1 sector to go now. It's going to have to be one heck of a lunge from this far back. Carl entirely out of DRS. DC closing up. He's gone for the lunge. But he's gone deep. And Carl able to retain the lead. Now Deluxey not close enough though. Force himself may have gone slightly deep. And Carl is going to win the pre-season race. Nelu Safi with his penalty. Pushing further down. Underboss, very respectable P5 for his race. Ours P6, then we've got 4-star. Clerpier must have made a mistake somewhere I missed. Those two were battling away until recently. But we will have Tobes across the line in 9th position. Bossman 3 seconds of penalties, but he got enough of a gap to Jay Hartnell. His front left looking quite unhappy. He's had a puncture. Then Jay Hartnell, M. Hobbsy, Cole Paradox to be the next man. Oh, and there's still battling going on. This battle for 14th position. Hadn't seen that was still happening. Jay Wills and JB Bowie. Jay Wills going deep. JB Bowie getting him on the last corner. Sorry, on the last hairpin. As long as he doesn't get one himself a penalty, that 14th position is his. Jay Wills, 15th position for him. Very, very good race from Carl. I can't remember where he started, but it certainly was not in the top 10. Neither Mercedes was. Actually, both of them finished on the podium, so can't qualify, can race seems to be what they're going for. So Carl came from P15. So hopefully you're going to show me the results. Just decided not to. Okay, biking. That was smart. Give me a quick second and I will get the results onto the screen. Right, here we go. So, sorry it's done. Like this. So Carl, as we saw, getting the win. DC going deep in that last hairpin, not quite able to get him. Deluxe in third, not quite able to get close enough. Just got the DRS in the last straight, but yeah, too far back to do anything with it. Nelly Safu, having got that penalty earlier on, not able to do too much more other than just hold on and actually stay 3 seconds ahead of Underboss, who nearly got him in the end. 4 seconds back, but a very good race by him in general. Other than that one mistake which we didn't catch. Then Lars getting 6th, 4-star Clerpiard, those two. 4-star Clerpiard had a very good battle. Lasted almost certainly entire last stint. Then Tobes, Bossman, Jay Hartnell, M Hobbsy, Cole Paradox, JB Bowie, Jay Wills, Draper and Krishna our last finisher. So of course, being round 0, pre-season test style thing, not going to be counting towards the championship. But I am now going to end the stream. Sorry about it not being particularly amazing, because the way I had to set it up, I can't actually hear the game audio myself, which makes it very tricky to be enthusiastic. I mean, I've got an engine's revving in your ear. But for now, I will head off. Hopefully, I'll get it more fixed up next week. But either way, see you guys next week. And actually, where is round 1? I should know this. Round 1, in fact, I can go like this. Round 1 is going to be at Albert Park, Australia. So that should be a good one, certainly. Not the most overtaken opportunities, but certainly looks good as a track to watch. So that will be next Thursday. But from me, that is goodbye until next week.